Hi everyone, it's Booney. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and give this video a like. You'll get updates on things related to archetypes, mental health, geek culture, and ramblings from an ENFP. And collectivist things. I will want to weave into cultural dynamics, into personal development and mental health. So I've been thinking a lot about how there's a lot of downtime lately for me, and I've trying to figure out what to do with my time at night because I'm a night owl. And so when people are sleeping, I binge watch. I'm starting to binge watch TV shows. Before that, I used to game a lot. Um, so I'm changing my hobbies, I guess, or activities. And I think that watching all these things that I missed out on from the past 2 decades because of having depression and working through trauma, I'm thinking about, wow, depression steals so much of your life. Trauma steals so much of everything that you loved. You know, the things that I enjoyed in my 20s, I didn't get to enjoy them. I was paralyzed by depression. I was so traumatized. I would sit alone in my apartment or the dorms and clean the floors or fold things and refold them over and over again because I was coping through these losses and not having any access to resources or know what to do. Just looking back, it's amazing how much time can lead to progress and increased accessibility to resources. So I'm really happy that people now have access to hotlines, always 211. If you're in the United States or Canada, you can call 211 or visit 211.org to look for local resources. There's warm lines, there's local organizations for mental health, there's interpersonal violence or domestic violence shelters that offer advocacy and free legal support if you're trying to get out of a domestic violent relationship, educational courses for people who are the ones who abuse, trying to get out of that cycle because we can stop these cycles. And so um, a lot of good stuff has happened over these past 2 decades, but I'm just kind of thinking about the personal part of it and applying it to others who have probably gone through trauma, still working through it, depression, still fighting it. It's a constant grieving. So I'm a big DC fan. I grew up watching Batman. He was the ultimate hero for me in times of darkness. I didn't have Nightwing. I'm a little bit older than my peers who, fortunately for them, they got to see the light of being in the Bat family. Um, I'm going backwards and reading Nightwing comics now. I'm going backwards and rewatching all these shows. So I watched Titans, which I love. I just thought there could have been more dialogue, more extrapolation in every single character's story, but I'm guessing they made that in a way where they kind of did a nod to all the fans who already knew the backstory. So if you kind of knew, you already could have felt satiated enough, but I read a lot of the comments too for the fans saying that it wasn't enough. So I do agree at the same time that it was just it was beautiful in terms of the execution of the special effects. I liked most of the costumes; they're pretty good. Starfire's was kind of, I don't know what they could have done to improve it. One of the OG professional costume designers made it, so I'm not going to critique their work. For me, I thought it would look a little different. And so I went backwards, like, oh, I love Titan so much, I need more. And so I'm reading some digital comics, and then during my other free time, I'm watching Arrow. I watched Hawkeye, which was great too. So I'm trying to compare two at the same time. I'm comparing the illustration of heroism and combating things and the dark parts, the shadow of humanity in terms of how Marvel illustrates things versus how DC illustrates. And of course, I am my bias is I'm always going to be a DC girl. I'm a DC fan. I think the darkness and the pain is super legitimate, and I don't think it's glamorized in any way. I think that's how it should look. Pain, people who are characters of grayness, you don't know if you is this the bad guy? Is this the good guy? Like, you don't know. I think that's how it should be. People are complex and we make decisions based on the context of the moment. And I really think that if we had more content by DC to do stuff like this, um, those who are fans or who watch it could be able to where's like all this hair, could apply it to judgment for themselves or others, because I do think that's what pop culture is. It's the great mythology of our time, and that's not my words or language. That's Joseph Campbell. It is the great mythology of our time. It is an echoing and repetition over and over again of why these sagas matter so much, because we constantly want to seek that heroic journey for ourselves. And it has to come in a way that speaks to us. It could be in the form of something as simplistic as a fairy tale or complex dynamic. It depends. We're all different. So we need similar versions of different things, but similar enough kind of thing to speak to us so we can be empowered to be our hero. But like going back to watching all these things, I do feel like, like I said before, a constant mourning. I feel like I'm re-examining and grieving for time lost. I am slightly sad because of how long it took to combat depression. I am grateful that I currently do not have to have a bout of depression. I don't know how long it's going to last. And so, because of that, I am grateful. And I know that because of brain chemistry, patterns, cycles of our being, most likely it will come back. And so I'm wondering and juggling all these things and thoughts like, how long will the depression stay away? How long will my traumatized mind and body and spirit be soothed for now? You know, and while I'm working on myself and helping others, I constantly have to do this work so others can get pulled along too. It's a constant community effort to me where you keep on going, and then when it's time for you to rest, other people can pull you through too. It's this constant ebb and flow of people taking turns, these cycles. And when I see camaraderie in comic books too, that the epic universes and sagas and like revamps of different heroes, I think about the same thing. Like, which hero is going to speak to me? Which hero or villain is going to feel most understandable to me? I I love thinking about that stuff. I love feeling like there's more of this great cosmic connectedness that happens when I don't know, when we're just surrounded by mythology. And it's cool to see the superpowers. It's cool to see the dialogue and the beautiful bodies. They work hard. These actors and actresses, everyone works so hard to develop the persona, the character, to have that build, to do the moves, even the stunt doubles. Like it, it's all around. It's amazing to see, and I feel like when I can find the character that speaks to me the most while combating depression, trauma, whatever it is that I'm fighting at the moment, the heroes remind me that I can be empowered too. So I am almost finishing up season 1 of Arrow, and the one person that spoke to me was Huntress. She doesn't agree with the lifestyle of her family, their mob family, and she feels so betrayed. She knows she finds out what happens, and then, she wants revenge. She's driven by revenge. Although I don't lead with revenge, I understand the feeling of like being torn with loving and pursuing your own path, and then feeling like systemically or familially you're being sabotaged to not be who you are, and you have to lie to yourself, you have to lie to people, you can't tell the truth. And I think that a lot of us may feel that way. I don't know. Maybe not. I think I'm Enneagram 4. Try to want to be authentic at times, and then is there safety to be authentic? Is there safety where I can tell and speak my truth? Out of habit and practice and learning patterns, I know that it's not always the case. It's not always safe to speak your truth, and so it gets kind of lonely. You withdraw, right? So um I'm also looking up all these artworks and comics, like, because I lost 20 something years of comics. I feel so rushed and burdened. I don't even know if I can even enjoy the storyline, but I want to read it all. Um, like, I can't really describe. It's just like constant grief, burden, frustration, and like a rush to get it all done. And I feel like, well, am I actually enjoying it if I'm binge watching everything? Am I gonna enjoy it if I buy all the comics or even borrow them from someone and read them all really quickly just to feel like, here's what I missed out on? Do I feel like I'm in the present now, or if I feel like I'm constantly playing catch up with time because I lost so much of my life combating depression. I lost so much of my time looking at myself and not knowing who I was and feeling like I was just always floating. Um, that's the word I use in a couple of my videos where, like, when you are going through this, I had traumatic brain injury from the concussions and the car accidents. I had back pain. I still have back pain. I have chronic fatigue. Like, there's all these things that constantly have been robbing and taking away my enjoyment of the moment. And I wonder, will it ever be present? And so when I talk to sensates, I talk to, I'm dating an ISFP right now, and he's very much in the present. And when I talk about planning, he's like, "That's X days away. You're kind of like, slow down. Let's live in the moment. Let's enjoy right now." And it's a nice reminder. And then I can, again, with SE guided people, I can help remind them to plan a little bit. So it's this nice balance, more respectful, more kind this time. And he's a fellow comic book nerd, like, even more so, like, so much trivia, so much information, even goes into the actors and the actresses and the IMDb's of all the voice actors of the video game characters. So it's endearing to me, and I love it. I love the dedication and of what you love. I love that it's done in a way to share joy, and um, I just I just think about other people too. Like, what do you experience if you are working through the trauma still? If you are working through the depression still, the anxiety, do you ever feel like when you're enjoying what you love, do you ever feel present? I feel present now, and at the same time, I feel a little bit rushed to kind of be up to date with all the lore because they keep on rebooting everything. But I mean, when I like something, I'll binge on it anyway, so it's not a problem for me. I just wonder about other people when you have a chance, like when something clicks, it's like, oh, my depression took a break. My executive functioning is okay today. I feel different. What does that feel like to you? Can you describe it? I know for me, after practicing working on my, you know, ext- extrovert thinking, if you want to use them, cognitive functions like planning, organization, prioritizing, having structure with my schedule, like, um, I feel more present to a certain degree. And then sometimes I think about, what does it feel like to not feel present? Do I remember what that feels like? So I'm always this constant comparison, it's just what I'm thinking about lately when it comes to enjoying what you love. It's like, are you allowing yourself to enjoy it? Because, like, is it, I'm probably swinging, right? The pendulum of change. I'm swinging to an extreme want to consume so much of what I love because I lost so much time. I'm playing catch up, right? So I'll probably swing to taking a break and then finding my own equilibrium down the road. I think this is a good year for me to do that. But again, if you ever do have a release from your depression, executive function problems, or trauma, coping with it, pain, chronic pain, what does it look like for you? What do you do? Do you feel like you're kind of catching up and trying to reclaim parts of lost time? I don't know how else to describe it, but I'm wondering if other people feel the same way. And if you do, could you share? And if you have tips, please put them in the comments so other people could benefit from them too. So, yeah. I hope everyone's taking care, and thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.